Do it.
Hello, everyone.
Sorry.
You're good. You're
I
good.
screwed it up.
Yep. You're awful. Get the fuck off my show. You're good, buddy. You're good. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Constantly Calibrating podcast, as always, live on Mixer. I am your host, Josh, joined by my special guest, Chief Operating Officer for Gaming Access Weekly, John Donadio.
What's up, man?
Not much. I mean, it's been an interesting day. It's a week full of recording a lot of podcasts, a couple of which I don't think people are going to actually see until the end of January if they didn't watch them live, because I've been really busy with these. I'm excited. We got a busy week for the game industry coming up, and
yeah, really busy.
It's really cool. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I've again been busy. I'm just glad I could be here, hang out with you, and we've become good friends over the last year or so, and I'm pumped to do this. So
I'm happy. Like, we talked about having you on the show back when we were testing the waters on a potential thing that didn't follow through, but we were trying it earlier this year when you and I really officially fully met. And I said, hey, you should come on a podcast because Vanessa of Gaming Access Weekly was also, founder of it, was on the show. I thought, hey, let's have the Chief Operating Officer on as well. This guy seems cool.
Let's have the next guy.
And then we never fucking did anything with that because I was bad with scheduling and forgetful. We did get to, thankfully, stream some Sea of Thieves with you this year, which we need to do more of, especially with all the new content.
We do baby steps. It's just little baby steps. Little baby steps.
We get into it. We figure out the waters. We figure out the where we're exactly going things. And yeah, here we are finally as the year comes to a close, getting our podcast on. I get to learn a little more about you. You get to realize, wow, I really need to not work with these guys anymore. This influenza shit is fucking weird.
Oh hush.
Yeah. So it's a thing. Sorry, Justin is saying we found out.
He jumps in the second we start.
I know it references something related to. This is the only reason I'm calling out in the chat.
Yeah.
Justin is saying we found that Shazam starring Sinbad wasn't a thing.
Yeah, well, he's wrong. That's all I'm gonna say. He's wrong. Okay, so first of all, I don't know how this thing started, but Justin and I had gotten into a huge argument, about the Mandela effect, all right? And specifically, that Sinbad was in a movie where he played a genie called Shazam. Now, it is a thing. He has addressed it, and I don't care what Justin says anymore. It's a thing. Sorry.
All right. So if you say so, Justin is saying he's joining the podcast. I'm curious where it's going. He's saying nothing. Anyways, just so everyone knows, before we fully get into things, which I don't even know what things we're into right now, because I don't know if I was part of this conversation. I'm deeply confused. Justin has been yelling at me about this privately since the moment you scheduled, and I've never understood at any point what the fuck was going on.
As far as I'm concerned, Justin is just the biggest shit poster ever now. That's what he is.
It's the moment the glorious persona started coming out of him in these moments. That's when things happened.
I actually like Justin. Justin, I actually like you a lot, and I don't want to argue about this because it's so ridiculous.
Oh, geez. Before we get into things, this episode of the Constant Calibrating podcast is sponsored by Web Around Gaming, and I'll have more info on that sometime later in the show. Trying out something new. It's going to be a thing if this early few minutes of the show is any hint. All right. Justin's shitposting in chat aside, John, let's talk about where have you, just like the easiest question to start off with, have you been a lifelong gamer or a convert to gaming?
No, I've been gaming since the Nintendo came to America in 1986.
Nice.
I am that old. So,
so you're slightly older than me then. It sounds like.
Yeah. We actually had an Atari in the house, but I was a wee baby. I didn't really know what I was doing. But
yeah, there was a Commodore 64 and Atari 2600, and my dad ran an electronics shop, so we may have had like a ColecoVision as well.
Yeah, we had the 2600. We had the one with the big floppy disks.
Mm-hmm.
Not that a lot of kids know what those are anymore.
Yeah,
but
nobody
it's
knows.
The
It's the
save icon.
It's the save button.
So we had one of those. We had the cartridges, and then we moved on to Nintendo when Nintendo came. So, and I've been playing video games ever since.
Good stuff. Well, I'm just, I like to ask people that every now and again, get people's history, where they start out, where they originated, because you've been part of the game industry. So was getting into the gaming industry, was that something that you had planned from an early age, or was it kind of like where I was, where I sort of just one day realized, oh shit, I'm in this gaming industry?
Kind of a little bit of both, actually. When I was younger, I was a writer. I enjoyed writing.
Mm-hmm.
I was a big into art and illustration and stuff. And I I actually wrote to Nintendo about a game idea back when I was a younger kid, and it was something that I always wanted to do because I'm like, I play games, I love games, I want to be a part of this industry. And then after that, for those that want to know, it was called Super Mario Old Stars, and it was Super Mario as an older man with Luigi and Yoshi and all that stuff. And it was ridiculous. Anyway, so I wrote out this whole script. I wrote out gaming, gameplay aspects of it. Wrote Nintendo, never heard back from them. That's okay, I understand. And as I got older, I was like, I was an English major. I just wanted to write and everything, and wasn't quite sure how to get into the writing scripts aspect. And so I learned about journalism pretty early in my career. And I was friends with Vanessa on Twitter, and she had posted about looking for people to write for her, and I applied, and here we are.
Here you are. No, I mean that works out. Like mine's like a similar thing where I was an English major, granted dropped out ultimately, but I was on that path, and I wanted to be a writer and stuff, but had no idea really how to get into the script writing side of things. And I thought journalism, like, well, I don't want to be a journalist. Who, that's a whole thing. And then just sort of fell into the writing about games thing, not journalistically, then like no.
Yeah, like I still do like editorial pieces and stuff, like reviews and stuff like that as well, but and then now I stream, and I'm doing so things. I'm still in the industry, and maybe it's not my absolute goal yet, but it's getting there, I guess.
I mean, you build over time. So before it
evolves, really.
It evolves, yeah. Before we get to the absolute goals, because I'm curious where you see yourself in X number of years, let's talk about what you do. Well, let's talk about what Gaming Access Weekly is.
Sure.
And let's talk about what you do with Gaming Access Weekly.
All right. So Gaming Access Weekly is a news site where we also do reviews and editorials. We have a stream team. We have a podcast. And we do daily news where it's like, we're not the IGN, but we're not the small fishy either. We're sort of like in the middle, which is great. We have a great set of fans that show up all the time, read our stuff. They show up to the streams. It's been a pleasure. But it's nice. We have a team about 23, 25 employees.
Wow.
Yeah, and they go from everything from you've met Christine Burb. You've maybe even talked to her or played games with her. I know some of the team has anyway.
I've shared a hotel room with Christine.
Okay, so yeah, guys.
Christine's a good
Burb's
friend.
The sweetest. Yeah, so but we have a whole bunch of people there. Some that I've known for years, where it's like, okay, I'm in a position where it's like, why don't you come work for me? You could be in the gaming industry. We can do all kinds of stuff together. And it's been a blast so far. I've only been there for 3 years, coming up on 4, a couple of months.
Kind of nuts to think about.
Yeah, right? It's like I don't even know what I did before. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, so like, because I've known in the old name and stuff like that, but I've known of J Weekly for a long time. As I talked to Vanessa when she was on the podcast earlier this year. I think we started around the same time. I think she started the site like a couple of months after I started constantly calibrating. She just managed to figure out the direction a lot faster than I did. So she made those connections. She grew that stuff. She did all those fun things. But I've been aware and following for like the last 6.5 years now. But I feel like I've known or at least your handle for like the longest damn time, like some beardy flip. I feel like I've known of your existence way longer than you've actually been there.
Dude, when I came up with this name, I was like, this is it forever. I love this handle. I'm never getting rid of it. It's like I've even grown into it, I'm just like, this is me, like and I think people have responded well to it. I think they see that and they laugh and they go, this is awesome. This dude is just a guy just having a good time.
Yep. Yeah, no, it pulls people in, it definitely interests people. So let's talk about what is it being like, what's the that you can talk about being the chief operating officer of this, like, this not tiny, but small to mid-level gaming news site. What's that like? What's your day-to-day, week-to-week experience?
Day to day, it's really just like making sure people are up and doing news. Like, we have to have something to post. It is sometimes not frustrating, but it's it's a challenge because our people are there voluntarily for the most part,
sure.
And we have a good time. But it's sometimes it's hard to get like, okay, hey, how about you write 1 or 2 articles? You can't force people into that, but it's still a blast. We have a lot of good connections with people. And I guess week to week, I just make sure that we're doing reviews, editorials, things are going out on time.
Sure.
Because that could be an issue with major games that we might not get a code for, but we have to buy. So within like 7 days, we try and get a review out, So it's like making sure people actually do that once they say they might do it. But yeah, that's and then month to month, I throw in, we do like meetings and stuff, making sure people like, hey, I want to do this game, or I want to talk about this, I want to write an editorial about that, whatever. And we just like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea, go for it.
Makes sense. Trust me, I know with the wrangling people to do reviews, and then because we've gone through, ConCal's gone through so many different phases where we were the same kind of thing where we were, we didn't get a review code because we're not applying for review codes and we have no understanding how review codes work. So we're going to buy every major AAA game that comes out. We were there was that there was that era of things, and then there was the shift as time went on to we're gonna do specialized coverage, which is more closer to where we're at now, but still the trying to convince yourself, let alone other people, to be like, like, hey, we need a review in X amount of time, go buy this, or here's this review code, please remember to go actually claim it.
It's it can be a challenge, but we've made a lot of like really good relationships with PR companies for a lot of indie games, and I'm a huge indie game dude, so like I love platformers. I love all that kind of stuff. So that to me is like, this is great. Like, I love AAA games. Don't get me wrong. I've been playing the shit out of Red Dead Redemption. I dabble in all of the big guys. But there's something special about indie games, and so I try and get as much voice out to a lot of those. Not a lot of those type of developers and stuff. So.
Oh no, absolutely. Well, the perk I've always said of indie devs, indie stuff, is they want to work with you just as much as you want to work with them 9 out of 10 times. So it does to them. To most of them, it doesn't matter if you're a big fish or small fish, or whatever. Hell, half the damn time they prefer to work with the smaller people because they know their coverage will actually stay on the top of your screen of your list, on the top of your news page, however your site is operated. They know. Right. That they'll get, X number of articles out of you and interviews and all the shit, versus an IGN or a GameSpot where they might get one little, nudge here and there. And exactly. If they're lucky, it'll get seen by a good amount of viewers before it's pushed down by 800 other things.
Yeah, by 800 other things. So yeah, it's definitely a positive that I think that they acknowledge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I've always appreciated that. And then also in general, in the indie game sphere, you're always going to be able to play the more unique things. Again, I enjoy Red Dead. I've enjoyed a lot of, I enjoyed God of War. I enjoyed a lot of the other major, quote unquote, major titles that have come out. But I mean, the indie sphere has had some outstanding stuff this year. I mean, my game of the year right now is very closely pushing to being The Messenger. I am almost having to talk myself. Right? I'm almost having to talk myself out of The Messenger being my game of the year, because is it really? Yeah. I don't like these style of games, but my God, I'm in love with this game.
The game is incredible. Yeah. I remember when it was at PAX South that I got to go over there and interview and everything, and the guys just let me play. Like, normally it's like a 15-minute demo, but they were so enthusiastic about how enthralled I was. They were like, no, keep playing. No one's even I haven't got this far in the demo. Like, keep going, Like, I was like, yes, please, let me keep doing this. I don't even want to leave your booth.
That's amazing. That's outstanding. Yeah, that's how at E3 Justin got his appointment, because we were standing around at the Mix Indie Showcase, and Justin, being the playboy that he is, he kept saying, "Oh no, you can go ahead of me. Oh no, you can go ahead of me," to every person as they, as they came through and stuff like that. And then Genevieve Saint-Ange of Pop Agenda said, you want to come back for an appointment? Like, what's your schedule look like? Since you're, letting people go. And he said, yeah. And he got to play the actual demo version of the game, which I still wish they would have released the damn demo version. Yeah. Because it had special dialogue and special stuff and everything.
Yeah, everything was so funny and so well done. I really do want to make that my game of the year, but I put in almost 90 hours in Red Dead, so is it, it's super close.
It depends how you factor it, but that's like what we're doing. We're kind of following our rule that I've set years ago, that we are not the big fish. We are not a journalistic site. We're not any of these things. So we will do our we don't have our game of the year. We have our individual person's favorite game of the year kind of thing. So
that's sort of what we do too.
Yeah, so I can write about 3 games if I want to, or do a podcast where I'm like, I can't decide between The Messenger and Spider-Man, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. I'm at that point where we are just about in the planning phase of our game of the year. And I say that loosely because we all end up picking 2 or 3 things. And finally I was like, all right, so you could talk about things that you really enjoyed, but then when it's overall, what our game of the year was, and then we tally up the votes through all and see which one won. Sometimes it's only 2 votes for the major game, and then it's they win by default, even though everyone had different games that they loved, this year.
Yeah, you essentially you have 22 different games voted on by 23 people.
Right, exactly.
Kind of situation. Exactly. Yeah, no, that we've had that in the past when we used to do the more everyone votes kind of thing, and that. Yeah. God, was just as a person who didn't know exactly how to run stuff back then, that was just such a complete cluster and chaos and wonderful and horrifying all at the same time.
It's nice because the way we set up those articles is that everyone sort of writes their own paragraph. There's the little intro of their name and who they are, and then a picture of their game. So it's it breaks it up to where everyone gets their word in, and then at the end you just sort of tally in and be like, well, this Gaming Access Weekly's game of the year is such and such because 2 people voted on it,
Yep. I was trying to I was literally just running through my head what's a random game I could say that's Gaming Access Weekly's game of the year this year, just some random thing. I thought to myself, I can't think of what came out this year.
Dude, this year has been insane, and it's there's so much. I bet people forgot what came out last January and February. There's no way anyone remembers.
Well, somehow January through August was 9 years long. August through October was a decade, but November was a Tuesday. It was just one day long.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? 2018 has been so crazy. I think people forgot that we had an Olympics this year.
I completely spaced on when somebody made that comment, do you guys remember the Olympics was this year? And I was like, it's an even year, so I know the Olympics was this year, but you're wrong.
Exactly.
But you're patently false because I would remember this.
Yeah, but apparently it's been such a whirlwind nightmare that it's you know what? It's all right. We're gonna keep going. 2019.
Well, the Game Awards, which is happening this week for people watching it live, and I think this one's going out next week. So last week for people seeing the VOD or listening after the fact, when I saw Monster Hunter World on there, I was like, didn't that come out last year?
No, it came out this year. That's what I mean.
January. What?
Yeah, so much stuff that came out. I'm happy. This year has been great for games, and I think it's really only getting better. So.
Oh, I would agree with you. I just look at it just one of these years, as I'm getting older now that I have 2 kids and stuff, one of these years I'll actually play, not just play to completion, literally play more than 10 games in a year. Because there was a time, there's a streamer who does a lot of work, a lot of things called Havoc, and he did a thing this year called 100 games in 2018, and he was literally keeping a chart that had slots going the whole time, and it got to the point that he's now at 115, I think the last time I checked, and I'm God. I would make that list, but it would be 12 games in 2019.
Yeah, because right. I like full games, full sit down.
Yeah, I consider my equivalent of completion, which has changed drastically as I've gotten older.
Yeah, as you got older, yeah.
It's just it's so fascinating how these these things work and how, I don't know, just like the nature of the industry, and as you get older and how you interpret stuff and how your life values change. Who was I think I was talking to Bryden from Evolve PR about this last week. I think that's who I was talking to about this. We were talking about how once upon a time, like, oh my god, you're going to give me an 80-hour RPG experience? That sounds so amazing. I can't wait. And now it's the point of, you're going to give me a 12-hour game with a complete story? Oh my god.
Yeah, I know, right? But at the same time, like I can spend hours and hours and hours just roaming around a great open world, you know? Like
Red Dead.
I still play Skyrim.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I have so many hours in that game where it's like it doesn't even matter. Like I'll just piss away time like it's, you know, my job. And it kind of is, you know? Like,
well, if you can figure out something to talk about on your stream, or if something to say or something to write about it, even if the game is a decade old, who gives a shit? Like if you can, you can turn anything into your career / job related in gaming, as you know, which is kind of how I've been playing games lately, where I'm like, okay, I just want to talk about this. I don't care if anyone else wants to. This is where my headspace is right now.
I did a stream recently with BioShock, and people loved it because they were like, "Oh my god, I haven't seen this game in forever! Like, this has been so much fun!" Like, of course, my game crashes like an hour in, and I ended up playing Dead by Daylight, which is still a great game. But I was just like, you know, people came in, they were like, "Oh my god!" You know, like.
Well, that's the fun thing. Like, I had the opportunity to, I got a streaming booth spot or whatever the terminology is at DreamHack Austin, and. What do I choose? But I choose this like Star Traders RPG game that literally I don't know anyone who knows what that game was. But I think it was like it was an early access release thing. But like I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna stream. And lately my entire chat was people including people who work for me, like Ryan, being like, the weirdest fucking games to stream. You're literally front and center. You could have chosen any game, and this is what you chose. That's like, well,
sometimes it's the random games that get you people in and excited about stuff. Like, I'm really good friends with the PR people that do Perfect World. So they contacted me. They wanted me to do a Star Trek Online, you know, stream, which I had a blast with. But it got me, you know, 5 or 6 new viewers that like had never seen my channel before or even seen me. They joined my Discord. They followed me on Twitter, you know, like all this stuff. And it was just like, just a random game that people like and that never really gets play. Because when you go on stream, when you go on Mixer, you see PUBG, you see Fortnite, you see this, you see that, you know what I mean? Like the big name games, and there's millions of people doing it and millions of people watching it. So the more obscure game that you play sometimes can get you people in, you know?
Oh, no, absolutely. Well, one thing I was going to say was, one, it's cool that you got people who weren't just transitory viewers / followers, the people who actually followed you across multiple platforms, showing the interest. 2, Justin and I have lifetime subscriptions to Star Trek Online, despite having not played in years. Yeah, no, we have that. So if you ever get asked to do another stream like that and you want to co-stream, hit us up. Because I haven't played the game in years, but I would love to justify it.
Yeah, there's all kinds of new stuff going on too. I'm not going to sit here and give all the play in the world, but it's
I keep track of fun. I keep track of what's going on, but I'm just saying, like, if you ever want to do something like that, I'm pretty sure Justin and I can
keep track.
Yeah, keep track. But what was I going to say? It's always interesting what pulls people in and what gets you interested. I had a specific game I was going to reference, and now I don't remember what it was because my brain goes 1,000 miles a minute. But yeah, it's always cool what attracts viewers and what attracts new people. Oh, now I remember what I was going to say. Now you're talking about games that don't get a lot of play. Subnautica, before it actually got its official release, back when it was a known game but not a super known game.
Right.
I would go on both Twitch and Mixer, and I would literally just type in. I liked to write articles or edit videos to Subnautica streams because that was like a great thing to have on the background. And these would be people who had the entire directory had 100 views total. On Mixer, just for instance, and like the highest viewed person was like 6 people, if even that high. And I would just love to find these people, and actually, it was always an enjoyable kind of thing. So I understand what it's like to be one of those viewers who's just like, I'm desperate to watch this game. Yeah, it's why I play Super Mario RPG on stream almost every year.
That's actually a really good call.
It's a good thing to do. It's a nice thing. Actually, I just realized I think I missed my yearly thing. I've been so fucking busy.
Get on it.
Yeah, it took me too long to play it last year. I might take a pass on that for this maybe. I don't know. It's gonna take some setup, but we've got on a lovely little rambling.
We did.
Rambling.
Yeah, that was good.
Rambling tirade. So I'm gonna interrupt it.
Rootin' tootin' shooting.
Rootin' tootin'. The rootin' is tootin' is shootin' is. Actually, I got some rootin' tootin' questions for you, but first. First, are you looking for an affordable, portable, easy-to-use green screen solution? If so, you should head on over to constantcalibrating.com/thewebround. While there, you'll find a wide variety of green screens, much like this one that I have right up here that is foldable, but I need to use it later, so I didn't want to fold it up right away. And you can find right here, really easy to use. Our listeners, viewers, guests, and even lurkers can save 10% off one of these with offer code ConCalPod. That's CONCALPOD. Head on over to constantcalibrating.com/webaround and check out the stuff. There's a great people. We're going to be doing some fun stuff with them this year.
Nice.
Apparently, Constant Calibrating was one of the top earners, or top sellers of WebAround last month.
That's awesome.
I'm still deeply confused how that worked out because I forgot to promote it for that entire month. So apparently, if I shut my damn mouth, people want to buy stuff.
Funny how that works.
It's
right?
amazing how all that stuff works. So.
Yeah.
Let's talk some rootin' tootin' shootin'ist stuff here a little bit. So, you've been playing a lot of Red Dead. You got 90 hours played. I am nowhere remotely whatsoever. I think I have like 40 plus hours played. If I had to guess.
Yeah.
But I'm also.
It might not be 90. It's probably in there. It's like 70 to 90 range.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah,
when somebody says 90, I assume you can subtract about 10 to 20% off of
at
that.
least.
And still a huge amount. I think I have somewhere between the 30 to 40-ish range, and I'm still like in chapter 3 because
I'm still in chapter 3 to be honest.
Yeah.
Like I
get distracted.
love doing stuff. Yeah.
It's like you think to yourself, I'm gonna go from point A to point B. It's actually what happened. We were doing a Red Dead Online live stream last night.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? We're gonna go from this place near Saint Denis that the camp is, and the first mission is to go to Blackwater. We're gonna do that.
Right.
An hour later, we made it to Blackwater because fuck if we weren't distracted. Also, it turned out Brad and I are sociopaths who like to lasso random people and drag them for 800 miles.
Yeah, that's actually I remember when the first game came out.
Mm-hmm.
The very first thing I did when they let me loose was to hogtie a woman, put her on the back of the horse, bring her to the train tracks, and put her on there just to see what happened.
Yep.
And I got an achievement for killing her. Yep. So I was just like, oh, what is this game?
Yeah, I mean,
and they continued that with the second one, and it's been a blast. I'm so happy with what they did.
I just love what you can do with just to specifically talk about with like the lassoing and stuff like that, and the fact of just dragging people, NPCs, or in the online version, like players and stuff like that.
I don't condone violence against women, by the way.
No. We don't. I don't condone either. Just to be clear, I don't condone violence in general. But if you put me in a video game world, I'm gonna be a fucking psychopath. I'm just telling you right now. You put me in a Rockstar made game where I am encouraged to do these things so. My goal in single player is to be a white hat. I want to be. I normally don't like playing you're not a good guy in this game by any means, but I don't like playing.
Yeah.
I don't like being the morally positive style of person.
This close to getting the top at the white. I've been doing everything I can to be good.
I will literally greet every last person I come across, and every single time I'll get up to 80%. And then I'll make one little itsy bitsy mistake, run over six people in Valentine because I don't remember how to slow my damn horse down, or I'll hit the wrong button, and suddenly a shootout starts and I'm back.
Or you do a mission with Micah.
Or a mission with Micah will sometimes affect that as well. Thankfully, the mission stuff do seem to not affect your honor quite as badly.
That's true.
It does seem to mitigate it a little bit, unless you are a psycho during the
right, yeah, of course.
But yeah, it's been interesting trying to play that white hat character, and then online I'm just like, I just really want to hogtie every person I meet and drag their ass around. I don't think it's ever gonna happen. I don't think I can possibly play.
Rockstar did a good job. I'm really excited for them. They really stepped it up, I feel like. Yeah,
like as we Justin and I talked about in the Catch-All gaming podcast last week. Red Dead Redemption 2 is not my game of the year. It's not even entering my mind game of the year, but I think from a technical achievement and what the game represents as a gaming achievement, in that sense, it's just it's this monstrous juggernaut. And looking at what single player is and looking where online is going to head, knowing what we know about GTA Online, it's like, this game just is going to be talked about till the end of time.
Yeah, well, even the first one, between the first and second, I mean, the first one was talked about literally up until the day of the second. You know what I mean? Like, people loved the first one. And I think that it's hard to put this game in Game of the Year because it came out so late in the year. When there was a lot of stuff that came out before that really rocked everyone's world, you know? Well, and one of those was The Messenger. Like, really, really... I don't even remember what I gave it as a review. I want to say I gave it a 9.5, but...
Yeah, I don't do review scores in part the reason so I don't have to remember if somebody asks me.
I don't really remember what it was. Don't go back and check me because I don't remember.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there actually was a period of time where I thought about just if I liked the game, not actually saying. So you have to read the review to understand it, or just look at the bottom. Space there?
Yeah. Or is it just this? You know, like
some ridiculous, stupid fucking.
That's how I should do reviews from now on. I shouldn't even no number system anymore.
No, like what it should be. The April Fool's thing you guys should just do is you just release a bunch of reviews on April 1st, and it's literally just. I don't know what I can't think of anything coming out then. So I'm just like Kingdom Hearts 3 review, and it's just a picture of one of the reviewers giving a thumbs up or a thumbs down, literally no text.
No text, just a picture.
Yep. And it has to be really grainy and poorly lit and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Just add the layers into it.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
I don't know. We're getting into early December where I actually start legitimately being like, what am I going to do? What am I going to forget to do for April Fool's this?
Oh my goodness.
Which April Fool's, if I'm correct, is actually during PAX East. So nothing.
Really?
Yeah, because the 300th episode of Constant Calibrating should be happening on March 31st.
Wow, 300.
That'll be
big.
That'll be episode 300. Well, this your episode is episode 205, I believe.
All right.
So
it's a good number.
It's a good number. So it's Justin wants a Shazam movie review. I don't even know the context of it.
You got it. 100%. You got it.
Yeah, John, let's just do a Shazam movie.
I'll do a Twitter thread that's just like.
No, that's what we're gonna do. It's gonna be you, me, and Justin. We are gonna do a live react of the entire movie Shazam and release across both sites on April 1st with a review. Oh my god, this is the dumbest thing.
Yeah, don't promise that because then we actually have to do it.
No, I never promise things anymore. I have 2 kids. It's a miracle if I remember half of my ideas I come up with, let alone the follow through to actually act on them. No. Yeah, it also has to actually exist.
Yeah, whatever. I'll find it.
Well, yeah, exactly. You'll find it. We'll come across it. It'll be in the depths of the internet.
Yeah. Right.
So, completely and utterly whatsoever changing topics.
Let's do it.
You got a lovely beard, sir.
Thank you.
You know,
I appreciate that.
It's a nice full beard. As someone who, my beard at its longest will only be about an inch longer than this if I don't shave until February. And that's not a joke. Justin has actually witnessed this. I once, out of curiosity, did not shave for almost correct me if I'm wrong, Justin. I think it was a year to a year and a half. I did not shave, and my total length of like the longest hairs of my beard was about an inch and a half. Meanwhile, Justin did not shave for an afternoon, and his beard was about was pretty much twice as long as where I'm at right now.
I get the shadow pretty quickly, but actually, the beard actually noticed a company called Fable Beard Company that sponsored me. Yeah, I got an official sponsorship of this beard. And gave me the coupon code to give everybody. I'll do that at the end if whatever. But
you're welcome.
Yeah, we'll do the rundown. But yeah, they hit me up. We're like, hey man, love the beard. What products do you use? And I'm like, I'm in the middle of kind of looking for stuff and whatever, because I like oils and balms and all that stuff. I take good care of it. I brush it all the time. Like it's like I don't have a pet at home, so it's really it's really just like I'll sit there like, oh, okay, this is great.
Mm-hmm. Well, so because for me, I was approached by, it wasn't a full sponsorship. I think it was like a quasi, like slightly better than affiliate program. I was approached by a place to test out their beard products, and I was like, oh, cool, I would love grooming products. Since I can't really grow a beard, I would love some grooming products, and then keep this neat and stuff I could talk about. And then it was stuff like like beard oils and stuff like that. I'm like, have you seen me? I am a 33-year-old man with a small baby face. This doesn't go well. I'm pretty sure my toddler's gonna have a better beard than me by the time he's like 12. So it's ridiculous. So yeah, I'm rambling a maniac here.
No, it's okay.
So I was to say was like I've been on the search for grooming products. So like what goes into the care and maintenance of that beard? Talking about talk about what your sponsor stuff is if you want that as well.
Yeah. So I mean, I just really started using Fable Beard Company not too long ago. I do actually like their products. Their stuff is pretty good. So I was like, this is great to be sponsored by you guys because I actually like your stuff. So it's easy to talk about. But it's usually like it's a shampoo every day, in the shower. It's a conditioner twice a week, oils twice a week, and a balms twice a week. So you kind of mix it up, you do whatever. I've been lazy last couple of months, haven't really been taking care of it as much, but every once in a while, if you could just remember a conditioner, it does, keep it soft. It does the split ends aren't as bad, so you have to trim it every once in a while. I brush it all the time. I use a boar heads brush, like a boar hairs, like it's like that whole so it's a very firm brush. And then I also have a wooden comb. Wooden combs are the best for a beard.
Okay.
Because the plastic gets stuck or breaks. Sure. A metal comb, I've seen a couple of them, but it doesn't it's that weird metal on hair feel. It's just super weird. So a good nice oak or whatever comb is the way to go as far as I'm concerned.
Really cool. It's like stuff I just I've never had the opportunity to think of it. I always thought I was gonna be this long-haired guy with this not maybe big bushy beard, but I always thought I'd be a long-haired guy with a decent beard and stuff like that.
A great big bushy beard.
Good at big bushy beard. No, so I always thought I'd have that would be what I would be in my I was in my teens. I thought that's what I'll be in my 20s. No, I'm just a balding guy who has to keep his hair super short to depronounce the shine down.
I started growing my hair out a little bit. I'm at the point where I'm in the middle of a top knot do, so my hair is getting kind of long. I do that shaved side thing or whatever, but I feel like it looks good with you have a beard on top basically, and you have a beard on the bottom, so it's very symmetrical as far as as far as my head goes. But yeah, listen, my grandfather and my father have pretty decent beards. Nobody really on my mom's side because they always shaved, but they always had a very thick coating. They had to shave every day, so I got it from both sides.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the entire Silverman family and the Taub family, both says my family, are incapable of growing beards or long hair whatsoever. I mean, even the women on my dad's side of the family can't keep hair. So it's it's really just hair genetics are shit, which I feel so bad for my son because my almost 4-year-old Roran has the nicest head of hair of any human being I've ever seen in my life. And that's not just at his dad. The kid has fucking gorgeous hair. And I'm like, please have your mother's hair. Please have your mother's hair. Please, I beg of you, because
they say it comes from the mom's side, but I don't know.
That's what I've heard of genetics, but there's
I don't have kids. I don't have anything like that, so I have no idea how that works.
I don't study
I'm still a kid myself, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, same. Very sad. That's what I have.
36-year-old child.
Oh, whatever. There's worse things to be.
That's true.
There are significantly worse things to be. You are aware of who you are, and you build up that person, and you're a good person. So
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Very much, very much.
Yeah.
So, yeah, doubling back is why the hell not. We're at the end of the year, as we've discussed a few times. Instead of game of the year, because we kind of like touched on that a little bit, what would you say in 2018 was your best gaming experience? And to be like you could pick one or two things. What I mean by that is like for instance, last year, it was not my favorite game by any means. I loved it, but Battle Chef Brigade was my favorite gaming experience because of what it like the effect it had on me emotionally and like playing through it and just like it was just playing it. I felt at ease. This year, I think it's gonna probably be web swinging in Spider-Man because I love Spider-Man, but it's not. I don't think it's by any stretch the best game of the year. But I think that the web swing and the traversal mechanics and just that freedom in exploring my home city of New York, like is just like was just this absolutely special thing, and going to explore and try to see if I could go find the hospital I was born in, like things of that nature was very special to me. So I'm curious what if offhand what you think yours would.
Well, first I just want to say thank you to the chat. I appreciate the Burbs in there saying I'm lovely. I love that.
You are very lovely.
Young Moblin in there. Just want to give a shout out to him as well. I guess my best this year has been Sea of Thieves. Actually,
I was wondering if it was gonna be Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, I've been playing it a lot. We talked a couple of my other buddies into it. And now I've been playing it like every Wednesday on stream for GAW. But just like hanging out with the guys, sailing into adventure, even if there's no point to the game other than just finding treasure and killing skeletons, and that's it. The water physics, the wind, the adventure itself, the fighting other pirates every once in a while, really is just a fantastic experience. Whether you're doing it with yourself or you're hanging with your pals, it's just been a great experience. And Rare constantly gives new stuff for you to do, new little expansions and DLCs, and they're all free. It's like they just care about their game and their players, and that's it. They don't care about making the extra buck. They're not worried about what people think. They're just like, this is our pirate game. Like it or not, this is our pirate game. It's been a blast, and we're going to continue giving you crap, and it's been the best this year. I got to play with you guys. I play with my buddy Brett and Vasi and Dave. We have a blast. I have people at GAW that play. So it's just been a great experience. And I think if there was an experience award for 2018, it would be Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, you maybe just think of it like that. I think for our show, because we usually for our awards things, we do our favorite game of the year, we do our favorite experience of the year, blunder of the year, and I forget there's like a fourth one I can't remember right now. I think I might actually have to. I might have to do a. It's just a place for us to shit post publicly out loud.
Yeah, of course,
essentially.
Yeah.
We try to put a positive spin on that, to be clear, but but I think I want to actually put like a gaming regret of the year, and I think not playing Sea of Thieves as much is going to be my gaming regret of the year, because I think about that game. I doubt I go more than a couple days without thinking about it, and at least once or twice a week, Justin and I will have our little mini like discussions in Slack like that, which was just like, we really need to find time to screw streaming. We need to find time to play Sea of Thieves together.
Yeah,
and then we won't find time.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that I especially now, like, just been so busy where it's like I go to bed early because I wake up early, and it's like it's tough to find time, especially with like my buddies have kids like you do, they're married, whatever. I'm just some single schmuck, that just plays games all day, but I go to bed early, so it's like I don't get to play when they get to go, and it is disheartening, but like I know that like it's not a problem, because when we do get to play games together, whether it's Rocket League or it's Overwatch or it's Sea of Thieves, we still have like the best time, and it's what part of making the gaming environment great is playing with your friends and having a good time. No,
I would wholeheartedly agree with that. It's just one of those games where it's literally the biggest. It's funny. On our team, one of the biggest complaints from one of our guys, Brad, about Sea of Thieves and why he didn't pick it up is literally the number one reason I love the game is that, as you said, there was really no course of action.
Yes.
There's nothing to do. There's plenty to do, but there's nothing to do all at the same time.
Right, exactly.
It's like the game starts, you wake up in a tavern, you get on a ship and just sail for shits and giggles. Do you go get drunk and throw up on each other for 25 minutes?
Which is still hilarious.
It never stops. It never gets old.
It's never not funny. And also playing the instruments while you're drunk because it's so bad. It's never not funny.
Yeah, playing the instruments drunk underwater. Like, do you sail your ship into a rock because I don't know why not? Let's see how. Let's see.
Do you go do the raids? Do you find Megalodon? Do you? There's so much to do and nothing to do. Yep. In a period where we are consumed with competition, it is so great to have a multiplayer game where we can do nothing.
Yeah, the story is like this. The chief complaint I read from people is there's no story game. It's like exactly.
You make your own story.
It's a literally fan fiction generator. Like it's like no, that's what I mean. It's like Sea of Thieves fan fiction generator. Yeah. Like, what's your story? There's a guy who works for Adult Swim. I'm blanking on his name right now, but I think he still does it sometimes. I think he actually had to start a separate Twitter account specifically for this, and it's just him nightly playing Sea of Thieves. Days on end, weeks on end, months on end, and it's just him sharing images and telling a narrative of what he did that night by himself or with friends, and it's brilliant. It's like a photojournalism kind of thing about.
That's kind of cool.
It's a really cool concept that I've wanted to steal like 1,000 times over at this point, but I don't have the time or the chutzpah to do it.
Right.
But. Yeah, no, so that's I want to talk Sea of Thieves with you because I was just thinking about also like when we played with you, we did that stream, we saw the skull in the distance, we're like, we're going to go do that raid. It was 20 minutes into sailing towards the skull when we all realized, shit, we picked the skull that's on the completely and utterly opposite side of this is still a 30-minute jaunt before we're going to get to a thing to do. Also, none of us are communicating particularly well, and we're crashing into shit. It's going to be an hour before.
I was like, guys, I'm driving, but I can't see anything with these sails. You got to say something. and then we like the wind was against us, so it like took forever. It was just fun.
It was the worst setup ever, and it's still one of my favorite streams I've done this year because it was just fun, abject chaos, insanity, and that's what I love about the game, and it's just a delightful experience and one that I very badly want to get back in.
I've done a couple of co-streams, one with Burb and Chris from Casting for Two, and we did Dead by Daylight, and we had a blast. It was just like I love like the multi aspect of that and having like people to just like stream with and do that kind of thing. I think the future of gaming is going to be very much revolved around that. I think it's something fun to do and people like to watch. It generates fans, between all the groups. I think it's a good thing. I think, and Sea of Thieves and Dead by Daylight and a lot of those games, Overwatch, stuff like that, I think we'll have a big part of that.
Oh, I agree with you. No, it's actually completely makes sense. Like I in this place where co-streaming was one of the main reasons. I mean, we had our reasons for leaving Twitch, but one of my main reasons was I was like, I just want something that further encourages playing with friends and stuff like that, and something that it could just be on screen versus me having to jury rig a game stream that has 4 cameras and 4 vantage points, which I would do on Twitch sometimes. Like we would find ways to do that, and it was a thing to do, particularly cross country and stuff like that. But we'd find ways. But then we'd start up a mixer and just like, okay.
Yeah, like let's all jump in. Let's do it.
Click a button, 4 people go, boom. All
stuff.
Live, and we can all do this wonderful shit show.
I know you've been interviewing me, but I'm curious because I know we've said we were going to talk about the future a little bit, but what do you guys like? What's your future? What are you guys looking forward to doing?
So what I'm looking forward to is just continued growth. I had the opportunity, like a continued growth, but to be clear, like, I don't mean just continued growth, like I want to make money and be like the big name. No, I want continued growth of our community and help, because my shtick is, and I stand, and it's who I am, is I like to help people. Years ago, a few years back, I wanted to literally shut down ConCal Calibrating. I was in a pit of depression. I wasn't happy with how the site was going. I wasn't happy with who I was as a content creator, even as a person.
Yeah.
But Justin had started streaming, and I'm like, and I realized, oh my god, Justin is so good at this kind of stuff. I'm gonna keep Constant Calibrating going, literally for the sole purpose to get that boy some attention. And that was what I was certain to do, and it was what kept me motivated, and that was actually what it made me discover is I really just like finding interesting, unique people. So that's what my 2019 is collaborating with people, is working with people, whether it's you, whether it's Christine, whether it's our buddies, Bites and Brews, whether it's different people, and mutually grow together.
That's cool.
Like, that's my major goal. I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to co-host Kind of Funny Games Daily back in...
Oh, that's awesome.
What was that? That was that was already 2 months ago. That's insane to think about. But I had the opportunity, Greg Miller had us out there. And my goal for 2019 is, one, I want to get back there because that was just a fun experience. I want to get more people out there. I want to get other people that I know out there, people who I know would be good at that, and I want to get them on Kind of Funny Games Daily, and I want to start growing just this. I want to grow something where we can all grow together, and whether content creation is the future for us or whether it's a career more deep in the industry doing, the thing all of us end up doing, either, social media or writing or community management, which is the standard go-to for a lot of us. Wherever we all end up, like, I just want to have fun with friends and like have a good time and grow. Okay.
That was a good answer. No. Mine was shitty.
No, I mean, that wasn't. I'm an overthinking person, and I constantly, I never stop thinking about that question.
Yeah. That was a really good answer. That was awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, I like this industry, despite the ups and downs and some of the stuff, and I like going to events and anything that. Just sort of the more selfish personal thing is anything that keeps me going to events and meeting new people and getting to do new stories. This podcast could never like take off and become a massive thing, and I'd still be happy as long as I have as long as I have guests or friends or interesting people with interesting stories to keep talking to.
Honestly, like, that's sort of the way I am. Like, if God ever takes off, but I get to do it forever, I'm okay with that. If my podcast never takes off, that's okay. I like doing it. Like, if I never get to do any more than just streaming from my home and I just work a normal job, that's fine with me. I don't mind that. Like, I enjoy doing that. I think like my ultimate goal is to be like in voiceover work and doing that kind of stuff with my voice, because I've always been told, like, you have a great voice, you should do cartoons and blah blah blah, and like, that's all I've ever wanted to do my whole life, and that's where I want to get to eventually. But if it never happens and I continue to get to do the stuff where we all kind of grow together and hang out and have some fun and play games together and stream together and all that stuff, I am 100% happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to foster a network of positivity and just love. That's really just where my life is at this point. I was a negative asshole for 30 years who hated everyone and wanted anyone who slightly wronged me. I wanted to not just see them fail, but maybe get hit by a bus. Like, that's the level of anger and negativity where I was in my life. And I don't like that guy. That guy was a piece of shit. I don't like that anymore. I want to be someone who lifts people up and just finds the good in the world, even when stuff is shit. And maybe occasionally get a small desire for someone to get hit by a bus, but it's at least more deserving.
Yeah, there you go. See, it makes sense. I try and do well. I try and make sure that people are safe and happy, and I take care of my friends whenever they need me or anything like that. Like, I would like to do that on a larger scale for people. I think that's always a good goal to come across, because like, you can be miserable 100% of the time. Like, I struggle with anxiety and depression. It's something that I've struggled with for a long time, but that doesn't also need to define me as a person. I think that was why one of the things I created this handle, Some Beardy to Love. It was more, a fantastic pun about my beard, but it was also like, I enjoy like the emotion of, like, happiness and love and stuff. And I want to share that with people. And so, like, that was one of the reasons I wanted to kind of flip on, on me anyway. Like, I grew up as that, miserable, angsty kid, even though I knew how to have a good time and I could laugh and, whatever. But, when I was brooding and, grunge music or rah, 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 whatever, like, it's just, I was that angry 90s kid, like, but, And I try and not that I push it down, but I enjoy where it's taken me, and now I want to kind of reverse it and give back and make sure people are okay. And I went through all of this stuff and still do, and it's okay. It's normal, and I can help you. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, that's I think where I'm at emotionally, I suppose.
Yeah, that's a good place. I think that's a good direction and stuff. I mean, that's my other thing is just bringing to light mental health awareness stuff is always going to be one of my big champion things. Yeah, I was at a dark 2017 was a dark fucking place for me. I've talked about that way more than enough for a lifetime at this point. But that's my other thing is trying to talk to people about like, I could talk about that. Like, that's life sometimes. You could be the happiest person or not the happiest person or the happiest person and actually not be happy. There's so many variables and so many different things. Yeah. Let's just talk it out if you want to.
I came across where it was like, you know what? It's okay to be open about it when Bourdain took his own life. Mm-hmm. I had gotten to a point where I was very, very, very shaken up from the dude, Chester. From Linkin Park. That really hit me really, really hard. And then when Bourdain did it, I might not have been his biggest fan, but it's like, okay, this kind of shit needs to stop. And I saw so many shit posts on Facebook from people that I knew that were like, I couldn't believe it. So I finally was like, you know what? I struggle with this stuff. I've been struggling with it ever since I was like 15 years old. It's time to just come clean and say, listen, this can happen to people you know. Mm-hmm. Like it's not just celebrities that go through this stuff, and it's okay, like whatever, like, but people go through it. I want to raise awareness. I want to do I actually in February, I guess I'll just announce it here. I'm going to start the process in getting I'm going to do a 12-hour stream for charity for the Trevor Project.
Awesome.
It's probably one of my big charities, and then after that I was going to do what's it called, the children's hospital that like pays for everything that they do. I forget. St. Jude's.
Okay, yeah.
So February will be Trevor Project, and I think and then June I'll do another one where it's for whatever. I was like, you know what, I've gotten to a point where people seem to like me. They like my streams. They come out, whatever. And we did a really great thing with Extra Life a couple of years ago, and I had a blast with that. So it was like, you know what? I'm going to do my own. I'm going to raise the money. I'm going to give to the Trevor Project. I'm going to do, St. Jude's, stuff like that. So February, you guys can look forward to that kind of thing. The Trevor Project is something near and dear to my heart, so I definitely want to help.
That's outstanding, man. No, like I've said, I want to do more charitable things like that, more charity streams and things of that nature. That was supposed to be 2018. It didn't work out. So I'm the same boat. I kind of want to do a lot more stuff like that in 2019. The causes that I truly care about.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So
we had highs and serious talk here.
Yeah, we hit a bunch of different notes this time. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or
not too much, unless you have any other questions.
No, I think we covered through most of the stuff. I think we pretty much covered just about everything I wanted to talk about.
All right, great.
We've been going for roughly an hour now. I think we're in a good place.
Awesome.
And you could always come back. You could always come back on again, or we'll make you do more game streams with us.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So plug your stuff wherever people can find you. Let's go.
Okay, sure. Obviously, at Some Beardy to Love is the Twitter and the Instagram. You can find me all across there. GamingAccessWeekly.com is the website where we do the news and reviews and articles for everyday gaming people that, fans or whatever. Party Up Podcast, you can find it on SoundCloud or iTunes. It's just a nerdy pop culture podcast. FableBeardCo.com is the sponsor of this luscious, wonderful beard. You can use the coupon code SB2L15, as in Some Beardy to Love. Mm-hmm. Get 15% off your order. And then RaynorGaming.com, their gaming chairs, they gave me a coupon code also, which is just a Beardy10. It's a capital B, Beardy with a Y, number 10. They actually made my Some Beardy to Love official gaming chair.
That's pretty beautiful. Yeah. That's pretty beautiful.
Yeah, so they're I love the chair, man. I've been sitting in it all day, actually. But so those are the big 4 things that I'm attached to. You can check them all out. Actually, probably on my Twitter as well. So if you want any of that information, you can check it out there.
Awesome. Well, yeah, no, John, thank you for joining for the show. It's great to finally have had you on here to actually
of course, my dude.
To just talk, shoot the shit, figure things out. It was a good time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for inviting me. I had fun.
Oh, absolutely. So thank you all for joining us this week. This show is live as we get guests right here on mixer.com/ConCalPod. You can find new episodes released every week on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, other locations. That's every Friday, usually around about 12 p.m. Pacific. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/ConstantCalibrating, Twitter at ConCalPod. I am at Bear Punch. Check Instagram, instagram.com/ConstantCalibrating. But most importantly, you can check out our Discord at constantcalibrating.com/Discord to get the most up-to-date info on everything related to Constant Calibrating, including bonus entries for contests and the ability to further influence our content. Oh, don't forget constantcalibrating.com. That site's it's pretty important too. Please make sure to leave us a review wherever you're able to. It really does legitimately help to get the show out there and for more listeners. iTunes, Spotify are the best places to find the show and do that. With that, I bid you all a good sign off.
Bye, guys.